Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I'm going to switch around a few things on my end. I always switch colors between the podcast and between readings. And so I'm going to put it back to the bright pink here. As you guys are coming in tonight, if you can tag any of your friends that you think might want a reading tonight, I always appreciate liking, sharing if there's any groups of people that you think would enjoy this or groups that you have, would so appreciate that. We are, if you're not new here, you know how it goes, and we're going to dive into readings very quickly. But as you are joining, if you guys can let me know if you would like a reading tonight. And I have Solange, who is amazing, and she helps keep the flow of everything going. And yeah, just let us know if you'd like a reading so that we can get you on our list. I'm going to put up a little banner here so that you guys know what's up as people are rolling through. Okay, Business Tarot Tuesdays. So if you're new here, I'm Ashley Bradley. I am an intuitive business coach. I have this little screen here because I just like to play with like fancy technology kinds of things. And so I could like put cards here and you guys can look at them and you can see them as I'm talking. So yeah, I just get excited to find ideas of how to connect with you guys, even though we can't be together in person with each other. I do business readings as a part of my gifts. So I do lots of different things in the business world. I am leading the Divine Feminine Business Revolution. I am helping coaches and healers build businesses. And I show up on Tuesdays and I offer up free business readings for anybody that has a question about their business, ideally something that isn't a yes or no question. And I do bring in anything in the career, business, purpose, money realm, any questions in that space, I do welcome in. So yeah, just start asking your questions, letting us know if you do want to have a reading tonight. And then as I see you guys arrive, then I will, yeah, we'll start getting you going. So one of the things that Solange does help us with, you guys might hear my dogs in the background. One of the things that Solange helps with is the flow and the order that we go in for reading. So the way that we do it here is she gives you a number and I want to let universe, source bring in the flow and the order of readings. And that helps to, at times, if maybe you're waiting for your reading and you hear something else that resonates, it basically makes sure that you're hearing the things that are going to be in your greatest and highest good. So we do it like that. I know sometimes people think it's like in numerical order, like where you grab a number, you know, as you go into a store and you call it out. We do hop around. We do have a little bit of an interesting flow here. So Solange is going to be diving in. So hi, Alyssa. Hi, Bernice. Hi, Steffi. If you can just check the comments right now, Solange is going to give you guys a number. And I think what I'm going to do actually in the meantime is probably just go to whoever asks the question first so that we can dive in while she's passing out the number. So if you guys would put your question down below, whether it's Alyssa, Bernice, Steffi, I'm just going to grab whatever I see first. And then for the other two of you or anybody else that's rolled in the meantime, just keep a lookout for your number in the comments so that we can get going on this. So anything that ideally is not a yes/no question, I'm going to do a little Palo Santo while I'm waiting for your question. I'm using this Palo Santo Palo Santo spray. By the way, there's this store here called House of Intuition, and sometimes I like the spray, especially for inside the house, and sometimes I pull it off smoke alarms and things like that from freaking sage. So I like this for being like really quick, although I feel like I smell like forest all the time from spraying this. Okay, so we'll go with Alyssa. Okay, Alyssa, let me do one other thing. I had another live this evening in a group that I'm in, and I wasn't doing readings in there, so I didn't really set my space up in the same way. So I'm going to go with Alyssa first, and then we'll get to you guys. I do have certain things that I do before readings, just to invite in specific energy to the space. So I light my white candle just to invite in the light, really cleanse the space. And before we get started and I dive into your question here, Alyssa, I do want to just do a little bit of grounding with everybody here and set some intentions, okay? Oh, hey, Jessie. How are you? All right. So I'm going to do a quick mini little connection and grounding meditation if anybody else would like to join in. And this is just going to set the tone for the entire night, so we don't have to do it before every single person. Okay, so let's just take a moment here to connect in, drop into our hearts, giving ourselves permission to just be fully present in this moment, to show up for you, to show up for your business tonight. Let's get fully grounded. So imagine a cord going from the bottoms of your feet and from the tip of your tailbone going all the way down through the earth, branching out, going down all the way into the core, clasping on to Mother Earth's energy. You might feel some energy coming up through those roots, cleansing you, restoring you, setting up that root system so that every time you take a breath in, you're bringing in something that serves your greatest and highest good. And every time you breathe out, you are letting something go that does not serve you. Just letting that process happen naturally with your breath. And then a thin silver cord that comes up from the top of your head all the way into the universe and beyond. Imagining that connecting you into your higher self, your soul self, the greater part of who you are. Like plugging in a cell phone or device, plugging into your highest state, your highest frequency, and inviting just a little bit more of your higher self to take a seat down into this physical body. Just letting that happen naturally. And inviting in if there is a specific question that you have on your mind, setting an intention for what you'd like to receive tonight. And as a collective, we are setting an intention that everything that comes through this evening is for the greatest and highest good of all. Yes. And as you ask your question, we invite in angels, guides, any loved ones, anybody from the light that wants to come in and bring a message. We're setting the intention that they get to join us this evening and bring through any powerful messages that might be in your greatest and highest good, that might help you on your path of sharing your message. Okay. All right. How did that feel for you guys? I feel like the lighting that I have in here suddenly feels so much brighter after closing my eyes. Okay, so Alyssa, I'm going to start with you. Okay, so you're saying, should I be doing my business as a side gig or working full time? So I always start out by just connecting with your energetic field and seeing if there's anything that I pick up. So I'm going to drop into you, Alyssa, okay? Okay. So first and foremost, before we go to the card, Alyssa, your energy is showing me a few things. Like I feel like this really heavy concentration that comes in at the head, and it feels like there has been a lot of overthinking, over processing, thinking really hard, trying to figure things out, and almost like it almost feels like the kind of energy that you would put towards like a science or math kind of question of like calculations. And I feel like all of that energy just kind of shoots up to my mind, thinking that it's coming from a place that isn't inviting in sort of like the most ease, creativity, that divine feminine flow that you guys always hear me talking about. The 6 of Earth card is coming in. It's talking about gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan, or paying off debts. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm seeing. I always tune in. I read very intuitively. So I always zoom into the photo and it just brings in different messages, different sensations, different feelings, different energies. And so what I am seeing for you is that something feels like it's going to swoop in and kind of help you out. Like I think that knowing new businesses can feel a little bit it feels risky, right? Like when it comes to money. And I know it's really hard to just fully surrender and just kind of go with that easeful place when so much of us have so many things wrapped up in money. I feel like there's something coming in the next month or so that ends up being kind of an unexpected help. Something like when it's talking about the unexpected, the gifts, the money. Like I just want you to really practice being in that receiving mode. And when somebody comes to you, I feel like it might be like somebody like a family member. It might even be somebody that has told you recently, like, hey, if you need some help, please let me know. I'm here for you. Like, I just want you to not be too prideful to allow that help to come in, because the universe sends help in all different ways. And sometimes it's in a way that we're not expecting it to show up. So I don't want you to miss that help or be too prideful, because everything you're trying to manifest right now, I really want you to hone in on that receiving energy and not just the giving energy. The other thing that I'm seeing is sort of like it drop into my chest. I drop into the anxiousness. I drop into a lot of those feelings of worry. Just addressing your question specifically is I see things splitting and being like there's like a few different branches, a few different things that you do. So I don't really feel like I would want to like demote it to just being a side gig. I feel like it's something that's sort of like kind of balanced a bit evenly. So what I could see you doing is like having some kind of a part-time other thing that ends up being your side gig, so that you can really still be in your business, or some other kind of service or thing that you're offering. But that's really what I'm seeing is like so that you don't feel that money pressure, that money anxiety, like I've got to make this work, and having that energy be attached to your business and your offers. I see you having something else really being a temporary side gig that brings in money, so that your business can really feel really abundant, really good. And that I feel like even saying that, I feel that pressure lift off the chest. So I just want you to be open-minded to what is possible with that. Instead of thinking that just the business has to be the side gig, I feel like there's just kind of like a temporary money source, a different way that you leverage skills, or different things that you do, something part-time that brings in money that might not be completely related to the business that you're all about. Okay. Okay. So you're saying so accurate. So I'm thinking that's going to be from what you were saying, right? With the head energy and sort of being overly logical. Okay, yes. So I know that we have somebody at 6:15. Let me pull in Solange. She helps me with the flow and everything.
Hi.
Solange, hi.
Yes, we have Angie booked for 6:15.
Is
So
she in the comments?
yes, she was chatting with me just a few minutes ago, so I assume she's live already. So is she
Okay.
here? Maybe she wants to drop
Angie, are you here? Drop your question in. Drop your business question in. And then what do we have in terms of numbers right now?
We are up to number 5, and we did number 1, Alisa, already. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
not 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, cool. I want to do number 3 and then number 5. That's how the numbers are coming to me. Who are those people?
So number 3 is Steffi.
Okay.
And
Steffi.
number 5 is Jessie.
Steffi and Jessie. Okay, got
Yes.
it. So you guys hang tight, and then we'll keep diving in. Thanks, Solange. Okay, so let's see if I can put this little card thing back up for you guys. So Alyssa said super helpful. I feel my worries melted away. Good, Alyssa. Yay. Okay, so I want to go to Angie. Just general reading for business. Okay, cool. So Angie, I'm going to take a moment to tune into you, and then we'll pull a card, okay? Okay. It's interesting, Angie, like, I kind of feel like a stoic kind of seriousness that enters in with you. And typically when it's being shown to me like that, it's not necessarily showing me like, this is your personality, this is the way that you always are. It's being shown because there's something that's going on right now, or something that you're approaching with that kind of energy. And they're wanting to point it out. They're wanting to make things that you might be not noticing, or you might be unconscious to really make that conscious. So the Two of Water card is coming in. It's talking about a relationship that continues to grow, forgiveness, positive resolution of a conflict. It's really interesting because water cards have to do with the emotions. And while we're talking about business, I'll probably pull a second card for you as well. What I'm really feeling is that there's something going on that is not related to your business, but that it has you feeling in a little bit of a funk. Like it's sort of making it harder for you to focus, and kind of harder for you to feel really in that normal kind of, I feel like there's almost like a excitedness that you usually have, or that you tend to be like a very glass half full kind of person, but it feels like, it just feels like there's a heaviness to something that is surrounding you in life, that some of that energy has, because your business is not an island separate from anything else, it's been just carried in. Like it feels like it's been more recent. It feels like more like in the last few weeks. But I'm curious if that, if you're knowing what I'm talking about, if that's something that would make sense. Let's see if there's a second card that we can pull in for this. Interesting. You said you go up and down with confidence. Yeah. Another water card came in, which has to do with the emotions. So I always feel like it's funny when I'm just like, what else is there? Is there a different message? And then like this other card that's speaking very much about the emotions is coming in. So 9 of Water. This one actually does feel very different. It's talking about your wish comes true, concerns fade away, a love of life. Okay, so I want to replace it. Sorry, I used to hold it up to the camera here, and then I forget that I have this like little kind of like fancy camera set up. I'm going to see if I can like pull this down just a little bit so you can see it like a little bit more close up. So what I want to show you is, do you see how down here there's like all of this like crazy, like amazing treasure? If we do think about like the flow of the water as representing the emotions here, it's this sense of needing to dive deep and not being afraid that you won't be able to make your way back up to the top, and that really digging into those deeper things, like how you just said, I go up and down with confidence. What I'm seeing right now for you, Angie, is that you do really need to dive deep and do a lot of that inner work for you to be really kind of experiencing the way that you're seeing business in your mind. Like they're kind of showing me this like way that you've seen yourself, this way that you kind of visualize, and all the things that got you into business, and like now being on this roller coaster and having it kind of feel kind of a bit chaotic and throwing you around and feeling a little bit beat up. But what I really want to point you towards is following the nudges. Like when people say, hey, like you should read this book, and it comes up from 3 different friends or 3 different people randomly, or a similar quote that kind of points you back to the same thing. I see a lot of that going on around you, and it's really time for you to start following those breadcrumbs to do the inner work that's going to go along with you getting to that next level of success in your business, because ultimately it's those experiences that are going to level you up. That it's very much how we talk about success being an inside game. It's about you diving deep so that you can get to kind of the buried treasure underneath. So I feel like when you do that, when you do that, it connects you to a different power source, so to speak. I start to get really hot all of a sudden. So that usually means to me that there's a lot of people on your spirit team that are trying to show up and trying to support you and trying to work through you and wanting to give you messages. Let me just see if there's anything else that wants to come through. Okay, so the only other thing that I'm hearing them talk about is that you need to keep looking forward and that you need to stop looking backwards, because they're showing me that you've been really overly focused on things that maybe didn't go the way that you want them to go, things that haven't worked, maybe things from your past that have had you being afraid to take bigger risks, to play full out. It just feels like there's kind of like as if you were going on a hike, but then you were like trying to drag 20 pounds of like luggage behind you. This is like some business baggage that I'm feeling. And it's like being willing to put it down and just start from where you're at now, and then basically just rebooting the entire day. Like that's really what I'm seeing, because it feels like there's a lot of heaviness that's creating a lot of that up and down energy. So I just feel like for you, it's just very much time to do a lot of the inner work. And again, that they're bringing you things left and right that are pointing you towards exactly what they want you to see right now. So yes, exactly. Okay, got it. Thank you, Angie, for stopping in. So I'm going to go to Steffi. Steffi, are you still here tonight? Yes. Yeah, they're really emphasizing the inner journey, the emotions for you tonight. Thanks, Angie. All right, Steffi. Direction you should go with the course you're creating. Okay, so we're just going to look at anything related to the course that wants to come in, because sometimes directions would fall into the place of being like yes or no. So if there's any messages that want to come through, any guidance that wants to come through related to the course, that's what we're going to set, because that's just it's a more open-ended question, okay? Steffi stuff. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they're showing me like just a really like fun, big, excited energy with you. Like it feels like you have like just a very expressive, creative side to you. That's what's coming in. So there's also a water card. This seems to be kind of a theme tonight, pulling out of this big old deck, and it seems like water cards have been the theme these last few readings. Okay, so what's coming in and what I'm hearing, right, as I step into this question and I step into your energy, is the sense of like when you follow your highest excitement, that it always leads you in the right direction, and that for you in particular, like you always have to have that very strong personal emotional connection with whatever you're doing, and that there's always a different side of you that gets expressed. I feel like it's getting really warm in here as well as soon as I connect in with that. There's a different side and a different element, a different energy that comes out when you express that. The Knight of Water card is coming in. It's talking about, interesting, this card in particular is talking about the feeling of falling in love, a need to balance emotions, an invitation. So here's what I'm seeing with you with that. I'm wanting you to look at and kind of hone in on that love energy. Like I feel like the love energy is really at the core and at the center of everything. And you need to be in love with whatever you're doing, because when you are just in love with it, I just see you like really naturally kind of expressing and talking about it and feeling inspiration just flood in. And they're just basically saying like, hey, you have this guidance inside of you, and that is exactly what you need to follow. I feel as though it is a different direction than what you've gone in the past. I feel like they're showing me like kind of like you've made a turn. That's what I'm seeing in terms of directions, is like this sense of like going straight ahead as if you're continuing on with many of the things, like topics, things that you've been doing, or it feels a bit kind of like my passion, my love, my interest is going this way. And it's sort of like, do I take that detour? Do I follow it? It's a little bit different than what I've been doing. Do I follow my excitement, or do I follow what I've been doing and what people have been really enjoying of me? And what I'm seeing is that you're already looking over this way towards the new excited stuff. And it almost would feel like that if you just like powered through and forced from like the should, and this is like what I'm known for, this is what people are wanting kind of thing, that it would feel like you'd be like going forward but looking over this way. And yeah, like I just feel like there's just this natural evolution of you, and that's just so important. So yes. So you're saying that this has already helped. Good. Does that make sense? Like, is there something that you've been looking at that you've been wondering, like, hey, like, should I do this? Should I go in this different direction? Should I change it up a little bit? That's really what I'm seeing with you in terms of you, your course, your work. Yes. Okay. So I know we're going to go to Jessie. Okay. So Jessie, I'm just going to tune into the energy of your business here, and then I'll call up the next round of numbers. We're going to go do number 2 and number 4 next. So if you haven't dropped your question, and then we'll see what else came in. So I always like to re-guide the question, Jessie, to make it bigger. So since that is a more of a yes/no question, we want to just look at things open-ended. Something I always like to share with people, if you haven't had tons of readings before, is that this is reading the current energy. And because we always have free will choice, if we don't like the current energy and where it's heading, it gives us the opportunity to change something and to shift our direction, just like a sailboat, just slightly kind of tweaking it and ending up so much, in a different place. And what I really think that readings are really great at doing is confirming our own intuitions, because it's really hard for us in our culture to trust our own intuitions. We're not really living in a place where that's modeled for us regularly. And if I'm pulling something or saying something in words or phrases or seeing something that we've never talked about before, it really is just great to get you to trust the things that you already know. And so that's how I'm seeing it. So what we're going to tune into for you, Jessie, is just what we're seeing in terms of EnzoCare, holistic mental health, like, and those services in that business. So I'm going to get tuned into you, and then we'll pull a card, okay? Okay, so there's a few things that I'm seeing. Okay. The first thing that I want to say is it does really feel like it's very logical, very thinking, and that like oftentimes you're similar to what I was seeing for Alyssa for that first reading as well, that you're kind of thinking yourself into corners, and it's kind of like the energy of like a horse with blinders on, and that just notice when that energy and that overly processing, logical, analyzing stuff comes in for you, and when it gets you stuck, so that you can let it go or enter into a different mode. I also feel like there's a few things. I feel like there is somebody around you. It feels like either a close friend or family member that they feel somewhat kind of influential and that you care about your opinion, but that they seem like they're kind of like a bit of a nag, of like a little bit of almost like an annoyance of trying to convince you to go in a different direction or to maybe pursue something else. And it just feels like that sense of somebody kind of being in your ear, or being like, I'm just kind of experiencing it like as if like a little bit of annoyance is the way that I'm seeing it. I also feel like you do have a lot of spirit that wants to come through and that is trying to give you guidance and give you a lot of answers. And that you might start to notice if you feel a little bit of head tingling. They're bringing me to the head quite a bit, like that when you feel a little bit of head tingling, that they're showing me that that is your sign of like kind of how they tap you in terms of what you're going to feel in your physical body to know like, hey, there's something here. So if you're ever noticing like the ear ringing, like oftentimes because they're communicating at such a high frequency, like, and then you feel, maybe you hear a little bit of ringing, you feel a little bit of that head tingling, start to notice those things of when spirit's trying to come through and give you some guidance and give you some answers. And it's sort of like a different language that while our logical mind can't understand how we can understand it, I want you to start just kind of noticing the thoughts that come to you. I want you to start asking specific questions and then just getting out a pen and paper, getting out a notebook and writing down what comes to you without really thinking about it, because that's really how it's going to flow through you. The 3 of Fire card is coming in. So that has to do with a lot of things related to passion, a lot of the masculine energy, like a lot of taking action. And it's talking about abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time. Make long-term plans. So when this card comes in, it's very much signaling that you need to trust your vision. It's showing you with this dragon energy, that's one of the symbols of like protection, of having spiritual protection, having spiritual guidance, and really, really creating something that you were put here to create. And so I love that that's coming in for you with this card. I also want to point out that they're kind of looking out on this like giant shit show. It's kind of like if 2020 was like represented in like a drawing. There's like a volcano and it's like cloudy, like it's just kind of like a bunch of stuff going on out here, and they're kind of like looking out on it from this cliff, from this just like high viewpoint, from like almost like that place of detachment, of being far enough away from it that you can objectively see it and really see what's going on. So I just want you to notice that that is something that you have the ability to do, to really zoom out of situations and sort of gather what the patterns are, gather what the information is, which, by the way, Jesse and everybody else that's watching, chat with me of like, yes, this makes sense. They're picking up on that, because I really love connecting as if we were in the same room together. We're sitting across the table from each other. That is like what I live for when I do these readings. So give me some of that interaction in return, if it's making sense, if it's landing for you, Jesse. But I know sometimes we just kind of get lost in like absorbing the message. So this is a very positive sign. I always like to tell people when these positive things come through, like this deck is like pretty damn thick. And when you're talking about really following a dream and this card happens to show up, you are very, very much being nudged and pushed forward with this. The other thing that I want to show you with this card is that it's about creating from pain. Like it's very much representing as they're looking out on the horizons of all the disastrous things that have happened. That also is representing like really taking in a lot of past hurt, a lot of past pain, and gathering that in to be the thing that you're uniquely qualified to deliver in this world. And so I just want to share that with you. I feel like the biggest thing in terms of what I would point you towards for you to make it a global business, because again, it's free will choice. It's not about things just being kind of written and destined and it's just that way, right? Like I think there's certain things that we kind of agree upon before we come into this life, but a lot of it's free will choice and what you choose to do in every moment. And I feel like what I'm seeing here is very much a co-creation with spirit, learning how to surrender, learning how to communicate, how to get those signs and to read those nudges, and to really understand how to translate that from an energetic level into your guidance and your business on a day-to-day basis. So just watch for that head tingling, watch for that kind of ear ringing, and know that that is them tapping you, asking you to tune in, asking you to, whatever way you do it. I usually recommend asking questions or just like doing kind of like channeled writing where you just don't think and you shut off and you just start writing and pulling all that information through if it is something that you're just opening to. I do have a freebie that, or what is it? It's a tip sheet I could share, and it's about really communicating with your guides or communicating with a business guide, so that if you want to get clear on and have more discernment with who you're communicating with and doing all that, I do have a process for that that's written up. I could share it with you. So just send me a message. I can share that with anybody. Okay, so thanks, Jesse. I hope that was helpful for all of you. Just let me know what makes sense, if there's confirmation that comes through, if you've been noticing the tingling, for instance, or the ear ringing, let me know that. Okay, so I know we said we were going to go 2 and then 4. Hi, Solange. Who was 2 and who was 4?
Hi, so number 2 is Berenice.
Bernice.
And
Okay.
number 4 is Brenda.
Okay, got it. Bernice and Brenda, the 2 B's. And do we have any other numbers after that?
Yeah, number 6 only.
Okay.
Which is the last one for now.
We'll go with number 6 after that. And if anyone else is watching and you don't have a number, thank you, Solange. Make sure that you check in with Solange so she can give you the number. Okay, so Bernice and then Brenda. I'm looking at the comments. Jesse, you're saying meditation, write about it all. Okay, good. Bernice and Brenda. Bernice, I'm scrolling around. If you can drop your question if I'm not seeing it here. That helps me find it faster. Oh, here we go. Okay, Bernice. Okay. Any messages or guidance around what would help me with transitioning from free to paid coaching? Been posting a lot of videos, writing posts, but it's been crickets. Not sure what's blocking from attracting soul-aligned clients. Okay, got it. So Brenda, I'm going to go to you next if you want to just drop your question. Okay, thanks, Bernice. Okay, so I will, I'm going to tune in intuitively and just see what we get there, Bernice. And then, and what I want to slightly reroute it to is like your communication with like calling in the right clients for paid coaching. And then I'm just going to come in and put my mentor hat on, since coaches and healers, building a business, I definitely have some perspectives on that I'll sort of, I'll just maybe dabble in a few of that as well. Okay, so let's tune into you. Okay. So Bernice, I see you approaching your business from a place of scarcity. It feels like it's being very approached by a place of lack. I see you questioning things about, do they have enough money to pay? Is this going to be right for them? How do I talk about it? And being very much sort of in the place of fear, and it's very much wrapped up in your beliefs around what people need, what they don't need, what they can pay for, what they can't. And it feels very complicated. And so what I'm seeing is that the energy field that's being attached to these posts and these messages can be felt, even if the other person cannot consciously realize that they're picking up on that energy. It's being felt on a subconscious level. And so it's very much for you about tuning into a different part of yourself. And really, I see you entering into the place of experimentation, of play, of trying different things, because it feels very boxed in as of right now. It feels like you are playing in a tiny sandbox where you have defined these different edges for yourself. It's very comfortable for you doing this free coaching in this tiny sandbox. Meanwhile, there is this field of wild flowers and this beautiful ocean over here. And while I know it feels like different territory, it feels very scary to be sort of going and mingling and diving into the ocean and taking these chances and risks. It is very much sort of what I see is like you keeping yourself boxed in based on some of these kind of fears and I want to call them judgments, not that you are judging others, but judgments in the way of what you've decided and what you've made up. There's a lot of story being attached to all of these things related to coaching. And I feel like right now it's about you breaking through a lot of these different narratives and just stepping into some different spaces. What I also see happens when you step into these different spaces, I love metaphors. So I'm going to use the field of wildflowers, that you are stepping outside of the friends and family sandbox, the people that know you, that kind of want the hookup deal, over into this field of wildflowers where there's all these different people that don't yet know Bernice and all of the fucking magic that she brings. And they're just like, amazing. Like, what is it? Like, I'm all about her message. Speaking of your message, I do feel like it right now, it feels very, I don't know exactly what you're sharing or what you're posting, but it's almost like it feels like too general that people, it's kind of like they like it, but they aren't yet connecting like, oh my God, this is for me. I need this like in my life because this solves exactly the problem that I'm having right now. So the page of air card is where I want to go. So the air card very much has to do with the mind, intellect, thinking, sometimes overanalyzing. So that would very much tie in with the message. It is a powerful image. You're going to love it. It's talking about challenging information, delays or changes to plan, or truth delivered without tact. Or truth delivered without tact. And so let me pop this in for you, Bernice. So can you check in with me, Bernice, and let me know how this is feeling for you. Let me know how this is landing. What I will say so Brenda, I see your question. I don't see anything coming from Bernice yet. But what I see often with a lot of coaches is we get, and I say we as a coach as well, very much trapped in like the coach speak and talking about like the tools or the process. So the metaphor that I like to use is like building a house, that oftentimes coaches will talk about like the importance of clarity and alignment and all these things that just kind of fall out of our mouth over and over. Whereas somebody that's buying a house, they're not going to be like, well, what kind of hammer are you using? Like, can you tell me about the wood? Well, maybe some people, but they want to know, like, what am I going to get here? If I'm putting all this money forward, like, what do I get? And so many times on a spiritual level, so many of us coaches are very much in that 5D consciousness, very enlightened, kind of very much knowing how important all of these things are and how life-changing it is. But all of the clients are still existing here in a 3D day-to-day life. Like, they need to have those offers and that coaching grounded back down in the practical, because they're just like, that sounds awesome. Like, I love fulfillment. I love clarity. I love all of that. And is this going to solve the thing that I need you to solve in my life today? And those are the things, like, I know that sometimes that feels complicated for us to think about. And I always want coaches to ground their offers down in the practical so that it can be the amazing, life-changing bridge into the 5D energy and consciousness and all the juiciness that we know that coaching brings. And that we're also able to speak to it on a very specific practical level. And so that's really what I want you to focus in on, just from like a mentor standpoint. If you're wanting to try some new things, is to go fish in some other ponds, because I feel like the friends and family thing, it's just kind of worn out. And I want you to start getting creative about how you get yourself virtually in front of different types of people and kind of just sharing your message and your energy, and just start making your offers more and more often and inviting people back into your business universe to be seeing your posts. I do think it's cool to add people that you've maybe started conversations with in groups, not from like the icky place of like you need to add 10 people a day. And like, you know, it's like, if they're cool and you've had a conversation with them and you're excited about their posts, like, invite them into your world, but like from a place of connection and excitement, not like this person might be my next client. And so, yeah, I just really want to shift that energy for you around that. The other thing is, yeah, just like the more that you can make things like more and more specific, you don't have to worry about having like the exact perfect niche right away, but the more that you can make things more specific, I've really learned and seen with my clients that more people will start raising their hands and getting excited. And yes. So you're saying, yes, I feel this exactly. Yes, I'm just like tired of posting whatever's top of mind. I'm not being strategic about it. Okay, got it. So for Bernice or for anybody else, before I move on to Brenda, I am doing a challenge for the month of December. It is like the most inexpensive thing you guys will see me do because it's the first time I've done it. Most of the time for people to work with me, it's between $300 and $500 for the month, and this is going to be $99. It's a 30-day challenge. There's cards, calls that are involved. There's specific things that you're going to be doing, and on the calls, we're really diving into how do you ground things down in the practical? How do you really wake up that creativity and bring in that divine feminine energy into your business so that all of these structures that you're doing, posting regularly, going live once a week, really have your unique magic infused in them. So if anybody is wanting to work towards that, it's associated with getting your next 5 clients in 30 days and really spreading your magic everywhere so that when people's minds are going to, I think I'm really going to start working on myself in January. I think I'm really going to do that healing work that I've been putting off and that I kind of pushed to the side in 2020. It is so much about just really kind of getting to the place of like building excitement and building a different relationship with social media and the day-to-day tasks and having that support, having somebody helping you through all of those questions that sometimes we're just too close to see. So if anybody wants to get in on that challenge, write challenge just in the comments here. And I can go back and send you a DM and give you the details of that. There's a few different things associated with it to drive the accountability that is very new that I've borrowed from a different industry. I love doing that. I always love taking great ideas from different things outside of the industry that we're in to kind of like liven things up and freshen it up. But it completely just is really going to drive the accountability with the way that I have it set up. But $99, I mean, I don't know any coaches offering that. I don't usually offer anything that inexpensive. So yes, if you guys are about that, let me know. Okay. All right, next we've got Brenda. And then we'll go back to see what else we have going on here and get a few more people in. Okay, so Brenda. And thank you, Bernice. Bernice, you were saying, and Bernice as well, make sure I'll have Solange. I think you're in my group already, but I do have that How to Make Money Being Magical group, which is really like helping all the coaches and healers out there build their business. It's also about the divine feminine approach to business. So make sure that you're in there. I really want to help you guys with anything you need, help you to be successful in there, help raise your frequency, your belief in yourself. Okay, Brenda, so you were in the process of buying a home decor shop that you've managed for 6 years. I plan on moving its location closer to my home. Sometimes I feel like I have blocks. What can I clean up to ensure a beautiful, loving, and abundant business? Brenda, I love how you asked that question. Oh, Brenda. Okay, there's some cards jumping out of the deck that are for you. I am going to totally, Bernice. Okay, let's see. I'm going to put a different, I'm going to just pop this down for a moment since it's coming high up on the screen. So we're going to just see, are there any blocks, anything that we want to bring in to invite in more abundance? There's 2 cards that jumped out for you, Brenda. And I'm going to just get tuned into you, okay? Okay. The sense that I'm getting initially is like that there's a lot of spiritual support that's coming in for this business, that you've been doing a really good job following guidance. And when I tune in and I'm asking about any blocks, they always kind of show me sort of like that lake, like in the early morning, where it's just very clear. It's like very settled. So there's nothing that's jumping out at me at this point in time. You have a really large spirit team. You have a lot of people that show up with you, and I just kind of suddenly feel it's sort of very hot as soon as we tune into you. The ego card is coming in first. It's talking about a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. King of Fire card talking about focus, 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 communicate with vision, be a leader, advice from somebody creative. So I want to start here. Okay. So I want to start here because there's a sense of you being in this place of creating from a blank canvas. It's kind of as if I get this sense that you have been sort of like a master that has been training a long time for this. And this is sort of like you stepping up the plate to create everything from and like use all of these tools that you've been working really hard towards. Because I just feel like you've been doing so much like spiritual development, so much personal development work that has led you here. The thing that I am really wanting to tune into is, and I don't know exactly why this is coming in, but like they're just pointing me more towards like surrender and just being in the universal flow of things right now, because there's a lot that is going to come in and a lot of support, a lot of ideas that are going to come in from places that you might not expect them. And so just being in that yes energy, just being in that receiving energy is everything that I'm feeling and getting from this card for whatever reason. The King of Fire card. Okay. There's this sense of like being on top of the small tasks. Like it feels like you are very actually in touch with like the divine feminine flow, but that there's like a lot of like little things to make this project come together. And so the energy that I'm feeling with this one is like really kind of reeling yourself in on like the minute day-to-day things that need to get done, and like being able to just focus and hone in on like, okay, if I get these 3 things done today, like it's going to be a great day. It's going to be such a, like I'm going to feel productive if those are the only 3 things that I do. And so I just really want you to be doing that more and more often. It feels like, okay, so sometimes I feel with the dragon energy, I associate it more with protection. Other times I'm associating it more with divine feminine. So this is like a powerful masculine warrior badass writing kind of the divine feminine. So it's sort of a merging of these 2 energies. And I'm just feeling for you that the divine feminine is usually something that I feel like people, it's challenging for them. It's challenging for them to be in that place of flow and trust and surrender. But I do feel like I see your energy actually being really solid there, that sometimes it's just like balancing it. And I feel like it's sort of like a constant thing where like sometimes it's a little more this way, sometimes it's a little bit more over here. But for this project and at this time in particular, it's like I see it just being more about like the small details and managing like little things as they come up. I also feel really strongly for you that they're kind of pointing me towards like a more solid morning routine and bedtime routine. And then they're kind of showing you like a meditation practice that's in the middle of the day. Like you were stepping through this sort of creation portal, and that things have the ability to happen really, really quickly. Through all of these, like I feel like they're just kind of like divine components that almost seem like kind of somewhat random, and it's like it's as if like they don't even seem like they would be connected, but they somehow are connected to this. So that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting for you. So you're saying you feel them, you have been on that path. Good idea. Procrastination. Okay, good. Solange.
Okay.
Oh,
is there something I can help you with?
Sorry. Siri just came on. And Siri just said, I like to pull in everything that comes in as like a message. And so,
would you prefer Siri or me?
Oh, sorry. I'm going to bring another message in.
I'm jealous now.
And then I'm going to do Solange. But yeah, so, okay, I only have a couple minutes. Who else do we have left? And then I'll share that final message with Brenda.
So we have Sharon, which is number 6, and Tamara, number 7.
Okay. I'm going to just do really quick kind of cards for them. And I'm just going to do general readings for Sharon and then Tamara. Okay. Well, thank you, Solange.
Welcome.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to say for you, Brenda, when things kind of happen randomly in the environment, it's always some kind of message. So they're also telling you right now that you need to ask like your helper angels to do certain things and to help you get certain tasks done. And that it's just really important for you to be like leveraging your spirit team right now for this and being like, hey, I need some angelic help, like, or I need my guides help with figuring out something for this. Can you bring me ideas? Can you bring me inspiration? Can you send those people? So that's what I wanted to say. Okay. I see your energy being very clear, Brenda. So I don't see anything in the way of abundance. I don't see anything glaring coming through on your path. So everything feels very clear energetically, Brenda, just to bring that home. Okay, so Tamara, and there was Tamara, and there was one other person that Solange mentioned, Sharon. Okay, Tamara and Sharon. Okay, so I'm just going to pull a kind of a general card and just a quick message. So let me go with Tamara first. Just since we're kind of at the end of the time here. Okay, Tamara, 10 of fire. What's coming through is too much work, accepting help from others. Life is out of balance, stress-related health concerns. My message for you, let me turn this back on so you can see the card, is that spirit has been trying to reach you, but you've been so overly like focused on like action and doing and kind of like almost like kind of clinging to like, I have to do this right now. I have to hustle. And that like you are being asked so much just to slow down. And I feel like I get that scalp tingling, which is like, hey, spirit has been trying to contact you and give you messages and give you guidance and give you support and inspiration, but you're like, there's like way too much going on for you to listen. So that is your message. And then I'm going to go to you, Sharon. Okay. Interesting. I just shuffled the cards around and then I pulled out the same card for Sharon. See, this is what I mean by like how the order is always like so perfect. I actually feel like for you, Sharon, it's very similar. It's a similar message. The 10 of water card with Sharon is also coming through. It's talking about a contented and rewarding family life, and emotional, material needs are met, trustworthy relationships. The other thing that I'm pointing you towards that's coming up with this card is like, in addition to that you are being called to do some inner child work and healing, so that you can really access a lot of the divine, feminine, powerful energies within you, because I feel like you are really being invited into an up level, an energetic up level, which results in a sort of life and business up level as well. But what always precedes that is a lot of deep dive internal work to release the stagnant energy. So that's what I'm seeing for you. So I'd love to hear from you guys if that makes sense. We are wrapping up for this evening. Thank you guys for being here. I am here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 Pacific doing Business Care Tuesdays. And as a warm-up for the week in my group, I actually do card polls, like where I'll post like 2 or 3 cards like this and take a pretty photo, and basically you choose which card, 1, 2, or 3 or whatever it is that you're drawn to. And I do pull through business messages for people and what is coming ahead for them in the week, any message that's important, so that they can show up and work with those energies in the best way possible. So that group is called How to Make Money Being Magical. It's all about the divine feminine approach to business. It is highly targeted towards coaches and healers and people that have some kind of business or service offering that is a bridge to the 5D, a bridge to the higher consciousness. These are like my people that I just want to help them reach more people, share more of their magic. So join me if you're into that. Solange will drop a link in the comments for you guys. And again, I have the challenge that's going on. So if anybody wants to really hold themselves more accountable to sharing their message and to really, I feel like it's about building a different relationship with social media, with having a really divine, feminine, connected, value message driven approach, and finding that fun way that you show up and share your message and express. And you're just like so excited to get on there. I had a client that was terrified to go live. And within a few weeks, she was like, oh my God, like I am in tears right now because I'm just so excited. I feel like now that I've broken through that resistance, she's like, I just love it. I just feel so connected and that I can just kind of show up and share my gifts and build my business this way. So I am all about shifting that energy. So join me in the challenge. Just write challenge or let me know if you're interested in that, and I can give you all the details. It's priced so well and you're going to love it. And then if anybody wants to do any work like related to just getting the train on the tracks with their business, I do have something called Next Level Business Magic, which basically is for the newer business owners that are still trying to find their core message. It's a 30-minute business reading. And we also dive into some deep coaching so that by the end, you have your plan that gets you really clear on your blocks and anything that you really need to see on an energetic level to get you to your next level. We get you really clear on what is most aligned for you in terms of social media, where and how to share your message, and then also clear on what your offer is and designing what's something that's really creative that just kind of holds the essence and the magic of you, and getting very clear on who that is and how can we ground that offer down in the practical. How do we price it to really attract in the right people? So that is what I have going on for you guys right now. I'll see you in the group. I'll see you on Facebook, and thanks for being here. Bye, everybody.